Hello, lovelies. Hello, lovelies. Just waiting for Rick on. Hello, Katrina.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yep. Just
Like,
check the
my screen
headphones.
just got really short. Yay! Hi!
We're on. Hi.
I'm like, oh, it's Rick. I miss you.
Miss you too. I miss everybody out there. Hi.
I miss everybody out there. Okay, so we have our worthy kit. Anything we want to share before we open up and show what's inside?
I don't think so.
I have to say, this kit like kicked my butt.
Yeah. I don't know how this one wasn't so bad for me, but I kind of feel like worthiness has been something that I've struggled with for so long that I kind of got to the point where, I accepted, and now I've accepted. So I don't know. But,
yeah, for me, I think it was lots of deeper layers, so that I didn't think about before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? Okay. And it's funny. So for those of you who don't know, Rick's in Florida and I'm in Utah. So we get to do this remotely. Yay! Okay, well, I guess I'll start.
Nuts, sorry.
Oh, dogs are okay.
Yeah.
Your best friends. So I'm going to start with the crystal grid because that's what's on top. Ta-da! So this grid, we go into detail during the crystal grid video that comes with it. But this one, seriously, it was really hard because I channel when I paint. And so as I'm channeling, I'm like, oh, we're going to do, ooh, peacock eyes. Okay. And ooh, a bluebird. Okay. And then it's like, and a mask. And it's like, oh, ooh, we just went really deep. So the purpose of this is to look at the way you're showing up in the world and what masks you're putting on and what is blocking people from seeing the authentic real you, and to allow yourself to keep the filters that show you as your best, most beautiful, wonderful self, rather than the filters that the world gives you, because you'll never be enough in their view. The bluebird is one of my favorite totem animals. It's actually tattooed on my back, for those of you who didn't know that already. And so that's why I was really surprised. I was like, what, bluebird? Because originally I was going to do an owl. And it was like, nope, bluebird. And there's a folklore story of the bluebird and how the bluebird was once brown and gray and not really colorful. And the bluebird went to the creator and asked the creator, why didn't you make me beautiful like everybody else? And so the creator says, go up to the sun and warm your belly and then dive down to the deep water and then come back and see me and we'll talk. And so the bluebird goes and warms his belly on the sun and then dives down in the water, and the sun had made the belly golden and the blue feathers blue like the water. And the bluebird went back so grateful, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for making me so beautiful like everybody else. And the creator says, well, now everybody else can see what I've seen all along in you. And I'm glad you finally see it too. So that's the story of the bluebird. And there's more detail into this that's in the grid. The really cool thing is the scanner place that I used to go to closed down due to COVID. So we've had to take pictures of the artwork each time. And this one actually has a rainbow going right through the center. And so this isn't the best image of the images, but it's the one that caught the rainbow. So I was like, that's going in. And it's funny because I was like, oh, remembering worth is about, after the rain comes the rainbow. When we have pain, we have something wonderful. But literally on my drive over here, there was a rainbow without rain. So that's not true. No more suffering. We get to enjoy life and have beautiful things without the pain as well. And we can celebrate those beautiful moments. So there's the grid. Ta-da! Okay, Rick, what would you like to pull from it for you? It's going to be your hands.
Pull the card out. We'll do the card real quick.
That's what I was going to pull. Okay.
I've got it too. Yep.
Oh, sweet. Well, then I don't have to show it, but it's in there.
It is, yes. So the Nine of Pentacles is this month's card. And again, we'll do the meditation with it, but the story is very interesting. And I don't know how much of the story we'll get into in the meditation, but we'll see. This woman is somebody who is wealthy. She loves to dress in fine silks. She's surrounded by grapes in her vineyard. She loves exotic birds. Like, she just has all of these very rich tastes, and she is incredibly judged for them. She's kind of considered to be pretentious and somebody who only cares about things. And that's like the outward projection, right? But when you really get to know her in the story, she is somebody who just loves luxury. And she has no problem saying, you know what? These are the things that I love, and so I'm going to surround myself with them regardless of how other people view me. And I think that that is a lesson that, well, when I think of worthiness, that's something that what am I worth? What do people see? What projection, as you said about with the mask, right? And then what judgments are returned based on that projection. And it's crazy when you get to authenticity and that place where it's like, you know, it's okay for me to love the finer things of life, and it's okay for me to accept myself as a finer thing in life, right? No matter how the outside world judges us. So I love that story.
I am the finer thing in life. What?
Right?
And I actually saw this card and I was like, it looks like she's got a pile of drugs around. That looks like me. I should go take that picture in my yard and put a chicken in my hand.
Hey, yeah. Did you see the little snail at the bottom?
See, and I have snails in my yard, and I have grapes and pomegranate trees. See?
Yep.
I don't know. And I have red hair, not a red hat, so it kind of works. I was tempted, and then I saw her dress was yellow.
Exotic birds. You got the crows.
I have the crows, and I have doves, and I have chickens and ducks. I have a golden chicken, so I mean that's got to mean something.
So actually, Holly, the dress is white. It's just tinted yellow because the yellow in the yellow has a symbolism, as does the white and red, right? We know that in tarot, white and red represents purity and desire and our balance in those two things. But the yellowness represents happiness and those like sunny things. And so like even her purity is like in that happy place. That's kind of what the symbolism of the dresses. So
oh, I love it. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do the one that probably most people are the most curious about. The sexual cleansing kit. So that comes in a bag first. Everybody wants to know this one. So it comes in a baggie when you get your kit, but this is what it looks like out of the bag. So there's a bazillion different herbs, and it's funny because I got all the herbs and I was like, okay, and going through like 100 different plants and trying to pick which ones go in this kit. It was like this one. They were all like zing, 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 zing. And then I look up all of them to see like, because I know what I use them for, but you want to know like if there's any hazardous crisscross contamination, or if any two of them go together, if it's going to cause a problem. So I'm like researching each of these herbs, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like everyone is about protection, cleansing, purifying, unconditional love, controlling and understanding lust, like all of those things. And I was like, man, this is awesome. And I have to say, I used this last night and it was amazing, just saying. So there's a whole video on how to do it, but basically you're putting the herbs in a bowl of water and you're steaming your undercarriage. And even if you're a man, you can absolutely benefit from it because there are so many herbs that are cleansing the energy and receiving, and you have orifices that receive. So just saying. Do you want to comment?
Nope. No, yes, I love it.
I hear your thoughts. But yes, so it's really powerful, and it's really good at balancing your pH and also cleansing out all of the unworthiness that comes with sexual trauma and past partners. And like we hold so much in there, but we just assume like, oh, my mind is free, so my body's free. And that's not always the case. So, and they even look pretty, like, oh, okay. So there's the herbs for the sexual healing, okay. I'll stop singing.
Well, you know, Holly and I had a little bit of a conversation about kind of this in the worthy kit and whether or not it should be saved for like passion. And but to me, I think that passionate part of us, those lustful desires, that whole sacral chakra, everything, right, is such a key part of worthiness. And we base, especially in our society, so much of our worthiness based solely on that. And I think it's perfect.
Yes, I love it. And there's a meditation. So actually, I recorded me using it. So you all get to be entertained. Well, not all of you, just the people who have a kit. And there's a meditation that I go through and do some drumming and some cleansing and reinforcing with words and the mind too. So it's about more than just, okay, we're cleaned out now. It's about connecting everything, the body, the mind, the energetic and emotional body as well. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do. I recommend it highly. Okay, Rick, what would you like me to grab?
Let's do the fluorite, I guess.
Okay. Dun dun. Speaking of sexual. Okay.
All right.
Now I'm like, now I can't hold it. 30, no matter which way I hold it.
Oh man, so fluorite was really
Jennifer,
important in this one, and
Jennifer had a comment. She said, for sure, victims of sexual abuse oftentimes feel lack of worthiness because of the violations they endured. Oh my goodness, that was definitely me. My oldest daughter's father actually said, I've already taken the only thing you had to offer, so you might as well let me have what I want. And I was like, oh, you're right, I have no value now. And so and then I got pregnant a month later. So that is a real thing, and we're taught that, especially in the culture of Utah. We just are. So in other places too, but it's very prevalent here. Thank you for adding that, Meteor. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. Fluorite.
No problem. So fluorite's actually not one that I resonate with. And it was so weird when it was like, when we were going through the kit and we were prepping, and I was like, fluorite has to be in this kit. And I'm like, oh, but I don't like fluorite. But it doesn't matter, fluorite has to be in this kit. So, you know, fluorite is such an emotional, really, it's happy. Like, I mean, it's not like one of those crystals that's hard or that's a challenge or that has some like negative or ability to bring up negative emotions. Like it's very pure and beautiful and centering, and but it is all about that emotional component. And maybe that's part of my struggle with it, is because it almost feels really one-sided to the light, right? And I really like things to be balanced and the understanding of the darkness and the shadow. But I think that when it comes to worthiness, like, we focus too much on the shadow and all the things that might be wrong with us, right? And we fail to see our value. And fluorite is really incredible at showing you your value. So that's why I love it.
Fun fact.
And I don't, but I do.
I'm like, but you're actually really correct, because I don't know if you know this, but fluorite, you actually can't put in the sunlight. It will fade. It has to be in the dark.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm
really?
Like, yeah.
Okay, there's a dark side. I love it.
It'll turn this blah, almost clear color, and it loses all the bright luster. So when you get yours in your kit, it is so bright and vibrant, but if you put it in the light, it takes away all of the beautiful color. So you have to keep it indoors, out of direct sunlight. I'm like, ooh, we just went really deep. So there's the dark. We knew you'd find it. Okay, I'm gonna do the goddess statue next. So these were really fun to make, and these are part of what delayed everything getting here. The mold didn't work, and then it got here late, and it just took a long time. So thank you for those of you who were patient. And so this is my favorite symbol. Like, I literally have it tattooed. I'm like, you can't see, but literally tattooed on my arm. And so the reason for that is because it's known as being a fertility goddess to a lot of people who don't really understand it because of the spiral in her womb, but it's actually your creative personal power. So it's remembering that everything you do, if you look at the spiral, it starts small. Everything you do will start small, but then can grow to an infinite size. And so anything big started out little tiny, even as just a little thought, and then it expanded. And also anything that feels like it's overwhelming and so big that you can't handle it can always be dialed down to one single point. And so it's understanding that power that is already within you. And it is very sacral oriented. And it's really funny because my son even helped me make some of them because I had to leave town and I just finally gotten the mold and then I had to leave. And it was so funny because I was like, how's he going to feel about making a bunch of naked women? And, you know, he's 15 and he was like, oh, this is really cool. I was like, oh, he had like nothing weird to say about it. He was just like, this is cool. I accept this and I like this. And I was like, huh, look at that. Magic working already. So I loved making those. And we left them plain for a reason. If I were to paint them or adorn them, then you would pay attention to the colors and you would tune into sparkles and all of the other things and covering it up. So again, it's that masked principle. So this is the raw unmasked version, but I do encourage you when you get yours to feel free to imprint your essence on it and design it a way that makes you feel like it's more connected and more of a representation of you because you're unique and beautiful the way you are. So that is the statues. Yay.
Love it. I think it's amazing that, you know, we could have bought them, you know, we could,
yeah.
But the fact that Hollie wanted to hand make all of these freaking statues is just one more reason why these boxes are so cool, right? Yeah.
Yes, they're kind of an excuse for me to be creative, whether or not the paintings or those, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to make these again, but no, I probably will. I'll probably make it time.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of goddesses, do you want to do the lotus goddess?
Yep, that's what I was going to actually suggest. So yes, we wanted to give you a piece of this, yay, to go with you as well and to remember that you are a goddess. And again, as we talk about goddess energy, you know, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, it finds balance in each of us regardless of our gender, right? It's just all part of that tarot story. So we have this like divine feminine, this divine masculine, we have purity, and we have passion and desire. And all of these things make up like that there's a balance for each one of these within us all. And people get judged because they're too masculine or they're too feminine, and then people get judged because they're too pure or because they have too many desires, right? But to see yourself and to see other people at their balance point is another thing that I really love about this goddess symbol, that whole balance thing.
And if you look really close, she has a Kundalini snake rising.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh. Which is beautiful because that's also the symbol, for me, it's a symbol of shamanism and the shadow work, because the snake is one of the few creatures that can go in the underworld and into the light. And it does both. And I mean, it's also another totem animal. I just realized that because the bluebird's one of my totems and so is the serpent. And it's interesting because they also shed their skin. They walk away from what is no longer them. They get to rebirth and step into new almost consistently throughout their life. So I love it.
And they coil into spirals.
Spirals, more circles. I love those. Okay, speaking of rebirth, well, do you want to do the Rose of Jericho?
Okay.
I already showed it. Dang it. So you get this dead looking thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
That comes in your kit.
The Rose of Jericho.
And then with water, it becomes beautiful and lush and green. So this does not mean your plant died. This means it needs to go into water. And it will unfold and open. It's known as being the resurrection symbol, and it's definitely a plant of rebirth. Some people even call it a dinosaur plant because it's so prehistoric, because it can live forever like this with nothing. And then as soon as it's time to receive that water and to flow, it just blooms and blossoms and opens and does nothing but receive. So I love it. Anything else you wanted to add?
You know, we've added some cut up Rose of Jericho in an herb kit in one of the prior kits, and I can't remember what one it was, but it's also very much known as um, a plant of abundance because of its ability to receive and its ability to completely dry up and then roll around in the wind and find that puddle of water and then regrow and come back to life, right? So anything that you have in you that you feel is dead or dormant, it's perfect for you to focus on that as you do a little ceremony with it and put it in the water. If you want more abundance, actual physical money in your life, and the Rose of Jericho isn't an abundance kit, but it could have easily been, you can put money in the bowl of water, right? And to kind of grow and bloom the money in the water too. So anything that you feel you need more abundance of to feel your worth is perfect for this. I'm saying perfect a lot tonight.
It is perfect. Okay, so then I'm going to do, oh wait, I'm supposed to pick one for you. Do you want to do your healing the healer stone?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is, yes. So this is a mixture of stones. It's, yeah, so it is, it's a green stone with these little black stripes in it, and it's 2 different minerals, but the preonite and epitolite, is that how you say it? Together is known as the healer stone. It is incredibly healing, and it's meant for those of us that are doing this kind of healing work to support us in those journeys. And so I think a lot of times we stop healing, or we feel like we don't have anything to offer because we aren't healed ourselves or because we're still doing work ourselves. And this stone helps you understand the secret that nobody's ever done and nobody's ever perfect and nobody knows it all, right? And so it helps give you that confidence and bring you into that space where you feel like you can recognize your own gifts and the ones that you should share with others.
Yes, I love it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the moss agate, which is the dark green one. And some of them are like a mixture of greens with little black spots. So you'll tell them apart because the preonite is the lighter, like almost a lime green with the stripies. So that's how you know which one's which. So the moss agate helps with healing emotional past, especially healing that heart. Sometimes we don't move forward or we don't allow ourselves to be ourselves because of hurt and heartache and rejection and abandonment that we received when we weren't ourselves or when we were ourselves. And so it can create this whole mind cluster. And so this helps you to ground and to sink back into your heart space and to heal some of that past trauma. So it's one of my favorites. And we used it in a previous kit as well. So which one was it? Was it the heart healing kit? I think it was.
Or self-love? No. What? I think self-love had the, no?
Oh, what do you mean?
There's too many now. I don't remember them all.
Okay,
yeah,
so last second. Okay, what would you like to do next?
Oh, let's talk about the flower, I guess.
Okay, so in your kit, you have a glass, you have some beads for the bottom of your glass, and be careful because some of you, your crystals are in with your beads. So make sure if you think you didn't get your crystals, look, they're probably with your marbles. And the marbles go in, they'll help it drain. You have a pile of dirt that goes in, and then you have a piece of twine and a cute little sign that you can write worthy or another word that resonates with you. And then you have a bulb. Woo! That was really cool. It went in. So, tell me about the bulb.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on with this kit, right? Well, a lot was going on with this kit. But when we first started planning it, I'm like, I really want a freaking flower in this kit. And I don't know why. I want a live freaking flower, not something that's going to die, not something that's going to cut. But how are we going to get a flower in that's like a living plant in this kit? So this is a white tulip bulb, and they're really pretty. I can't remember the name of them. I don't know if you remember, Holly. But it's not just the standard white tulip. They're like, sorry.
It's the crazy clustered tulip. So it's going to be an imperfect tulip.
Yeah, they're like the leaf or the petal tips are like frayed and just, yeah. Anyway, again, we chose white. Okay, perfect. We chose white again for that kind of purity piece, but not because of the judgment that comes with purity, but to spark that cleansing white understanding of like the light and the beauty that is within you, and how even the little imperfect little frayed edge.
So beautiful. And it's not going to be perfect. And it was interesting because my brain goes, oh no, one bulb. What if somebody's bulb never blooms? Well, some of us never bloom and we're still worth a lot. So there you go.
Aren't they guaranteed to bloom? I thought I saw that on the package.
Yes, I think they are. So if yours doesn't, let me know and I'll send you a new one. Okay, and then last but not least is Juniper. And I tried to make sure that everybody got at least one berry on there. So Juniper berries. So Juniper is actually, a lot of people eat these and drink them. You can use them in teas. I put a little bit into my sexual cleansing when I did my steam. And the thing I love about Juniper is it is an evergreen. So no matter what's going on throughout the year, it will bloom over and over and over again. And it will stay green and lush. And these things grow big. So they're very protective physically and also emotionally. So I really love the Juniper. It's really pretty. Do you have anything you wanted to add on the Juniper?
It is well, it is tied very closely in family to cedar, which is, oh, I knew I was delayed a little bit, but is that any better?
Yeah.
No? Yes? Okay. Juniper is very closely related to the cedar, right? Red cedar, which is used very much in my practice to cleanse. There's the history or the story behind cedar. I don't get to share much, but the story goes that there was a tribal leader who was very attentive to his tribe. He served his tribe in this really amazing, supportive way, right? All I can say is he served, and that's all he did. And when he died, the creator was so taken by how wonderful he lived his life in the service to his fellow human beings. He said, I'm willing to give you any reward that you desire. What would you like? And the chief said that he would like to continue to be able to serve the human race. And so the creator brought him back as a cedar tree. And so Juniper is a cousin of that cedar tree. His energy is still in there, and he is willing to serve you in your space and your healing and your feelings of worthiness.
And you can put this in your door frame, hanging it on your door for protection, or in your window by your bedside, so you can actually have it as a protective talisman. Or it's interesting because if you do choose to burn it, just be forewarned, it's explosive. So you're going to get a lot of flame really fast. So make sure you're outside, make sure you're safe. In fact, because I grow these at my home, and when we have to trim them down and we have them in the fire, they explode so big that everybody jumps and it's super hot. So they call them, I can't remember what they call it, but something bombs, like firebomb trees. So they've got a lot of medicine and a lot of energy. And so I really just love hanging them in my door frame, like just right on a little hook, right by there, to help protect. Also, they help with hexes and curses. So negative, like attacks from other people, especially, it's going to help ward off a lot of those. Which I didn't really believe in those, but then I've seen them more and more. I'm like, oh my gosh, people actually do that. It's a true thing. And some people, they can curse someone and not even realize they're doing it just by thinking evil, mean thoughts. And so it keeps those away because you don't need anybody else in your head but you.
And if you're going to burn it, I would suggest taking the berries off and just burn the leaves. Oh,
take the berries off of the leaf?
Yeah, if you're gonna burn it.
Sweet. If you're gonna burn it. Yeah, and they'll dry, the berries, won't they? These ones still have fruit in them.
I think they stay the same
So
color,
your
but
kit will still have fruit in theirs.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, well that is our kit. It's been so fun to make this one, I have to say. It was definitely like some deep level unearthing. And there are more videos that are going to be available on the website, The Beauty Perspective. You can order yours there, and you access all the videos there. So the meditation with Rick, the steam bath with me, the crystal grid, and also some how to get out of your mindset of not feeling worthy and allowing yourself to actually own your own value and worth. So that's the fun emotional craft part. Anything else you wanted to share, Rick,
Awesome.
before we wrap up our beautiful kit?
No, no, I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Yay, okay. Well, I love you guys. Thanks again for supporting our kits. They're really fun to give just because they help to balance all of the negative energies that we've been feeling. I think especially this week, I've been getting a lot of self-doubt and depression feedback from people that are struggling. And so it's nice to know that there's something out there that can help to balance that out without having to have a private one-on-one session, but to be able to dive in and be empowered to clear your own crap and connect with that and to make some major breakthroughs with the energetic surges that are going on. So I love you guys. Thank you for being brave enough to claim your worth. And thank you, Rick, for making these magical kits with me and cheesy videos.
Thank you. Love it.
Okay, guys. Well, and we'll go ahead and post this too on the website so that everybody who didn't get a chance to watch can watch. If you know somebody that needs a kit, make sure you tag them or share it, and that way they can find it. I think we only have like a handful left, so make sure you get one because Christmas is coming up. Yes. Okay. Love you guys.